Yo, what's goody, y'all? It's your boy Remo. I'm back with another VJo. I said I'm back with another VJo. And check this out. I want to talk to y'all about when it's time to cut people off. Sometimes you just got to cut people off. This goes for family members, friends, co-workers, colleagues, whoever. These are the 3 signs of when it's time for you to cut them off. All right? Yeah. Yeah, some people just don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your company. They're not worthy of either one. So it's best that you just pull out the scissors or the kitchen shears and cut them off. Especially if, number one, especially if they always want to come over your house. Like I said, friends, family members, colleagues, neighbors, whoever. They always want to come over your house. It's time to cut them off. You know what I'm saying? Like if you see them and they talking about getting together and they always say, yeah, let's get together. You know, we can, let me know when we can get together. I'll bring something over. Meaning they gonna bring something over to your house. You know what I mean? If they always want to come over your house, but you can never go to their house, cut them off. Cut them off. Or if they always making suggestions, get-togethers, parties, events, if they always suggest that it be at your house, cut them off. They got something to hide. That's a one-sided friendship, or one-sided network shit, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? They always want to. I had this one friend, so-called friend. He always talked about getting together, watching the Super Bowl, or getting together to watch the Rose Bowl. Oh, we need to do this. We need to do that. Let me know, man. I'll bring some pizza over. And I'm like, damn, you know, and I fell for it. You know, I was young. I was in my 20s, you know. But then I'm like, damn, I've never been over this dude's house. It took a while. You know, my girl was like, why he always want to plan stuff over here? And I'm like, you know, he's a cool dude. You know what I mean? She was like, nah, he got something to hide. I'm like, I didn't get it. You know, women see stuff before men. Y'all women, y'all notice a lot of stuff that we don't see, you know? And I'm sure men notice things that women don't see too, but y'all women, y'all got that motherly instinct. Y'all can sense danger. Y'all can sense some BS from afar. You know, y'all can see bullshit from a mile. Y'all can see a snake in the grass a mile and a half away. Yeah, y'all can see a snake in the grass from far, far away. So, my girl was like, he always want to come over here. She was like, he ain't no friend. And I was like, because at first I thought my girl was just jealous of, you know, my friends and family, you know what I mean? But, you know, she wasn't jealous, she was right. You know, a lot of times, fellas, y'all think women be jealous of you and your family or you and your friends' relationship, you know, but they be right, you know what I mean? Yeah, you got some women that's just jealous you spending time with, you know, your peoples, but a lot of times they be right, man, because, like I said, they see stuff that we don't see. So I will advise you to ask your girl, what do you mean when they say that they don't like a certain individual? Like, my girl didn't like this individual because he always wanted to come over our house, which was cool in the beginning, but dude just got out of hand. So I got tired of it. And so one day he was like, yeah, man, what you doing for the Super Bowl? And I was like, I'm gonna watch it. He was like, yeah, we all need to put our money together and go have on some beer and pizza. This was back when I was drinking. This was like 13, 14 years ago. And I was like, yeah, we could do that. And I was like, just let me know what time to meet over your house. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, we can have it. I was like, yeah. I was like, because I ain't never been over your house. So he told me to come over at, 4:30? So I went over his house. He didn't answer the door. I called him. He didn't answer the phone. I sat in his driveway. Nothing. Called him again. He didn't answer the phone. I was like, man, fuck this dude. Then like 2 months later, I didn't hear from him for 2 months. I usually would talk to this dude at least once a week. Didn't hear from him for 2 months. Then all of a sudden, out of the clear blue sky, he popped up over my house. And I was like, dude, where you been? Oh man, I just got back from down south. I was in Florida. I was like, in Florida? I was like, when you left to Florida? I said, when you went to Florida? He was like, about 3 months ago. I was like, man, I talked to you 2 months ago. I knew he was lying. He was like, nah, man, it's been 3 months. I was like, man, and then I told my girl was like, see, he's a liar. She was like, you don't need to deal with him no more. I had another friend who I thought I was cool with. This motherfucker asked me what was I doing Easter, because my girl liked to cook on Easter Sundays or whatever. I like to eat on Easter Sundays. And the guy I was cool with, he was like, yeah, man, what y'all doing on Easter Sunday? He was like, my mother said she was gonna make a cake and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, we probably cook out. And he was like, you gonna barbecue? I was like, yeah, why not? I was like, cause Easter Sunday is when we usually start barbecuing. That's like the first holiday we start barbecuing. It's a spring holiday. I might throw something on the grill and, what have you. And I told him, I was like, yeah, come over about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, dinner would be ready by then and we could watch basketball and chill or whatever. This fool came over my house 8 o'clock in the morning. I heard somebody knocking at the door. My girl was like, did you hear that? We was asleep like a motherfucker because we had been up all night cooking and preparing the food. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I hear somebody knocking. I looked out the window. I see this dude's car parked in my driveway. And I went down the stairs. I was like, man, what's up, man? He was like, oh, man. He was like, did y'all start cooking yet? I said, man, hell no, nah, man. I was like, man, it's 8 o'clock in the fucking morning. And it was on a Sunday. Easter fall on Sundays. So he got mad. I was like, man, who the hell? I was like, what made you want to come over here at 8 o'clock in the morning? Who does that? Like, what the fuck? So he got mad at me. He never came over my house again after that. That was the end of our friendship. I would see him after that every now and then, but I think I embarrassed him. But yeah, if they always want to come over your house or they want to plan events over your house, cut them off. Cut them off. And females, if y'all got a friend that always want to just pop up over your house with their kids or try to dump their kids off on you, nah, Some of y'all got family members like that too. Especially if you got one kid, they think your kid always want company, so they'll just pop up over your house with their kids anytime. You can't do that. You can't pop up over their house. That's when y'all ladies know y'all got to cut them off. You know what I mean? They're users, spiritual vampires. They always want to come over your crib. They come unannounced. They'll lie and say, oh, I text you and told you I was coming over. You look at your phone, you be like, ain't nobody text me. You ain't text me. You just popped up. Because you suspected that I was home and you suspected I wanted to be bothered. No, that's not the case. We don't want to be bothered with your freeloading ass. How about that? We got better things to do. Yeah. Okay, number 2. When you got a colleague or a friend or family member that's always competitive, cut they motherfucking asses off, man. I can't stand a competitive so-called friend. They always want to compete with you. If they in their 20s and 30s still doing this, that makes it even worse. That goes to show you their mindset. Something ain't really right with them. A lot of these people are generationally cursed. You know what I mean? And they spiritual vampires on top of it. They will drain you spiritually. They're always talking about other people, and they always trying to keep up with you. They want to keep up. They look at you as one of the Joneses. They want to keep up with your ass. I had a friend that he would always, like, we both had the same cars, same makes, same models, different colors. And he had put some rims on his, and he asked me, was I gonna put some rims on mine? I was like, nah, man. I was like, man, this a Chevy. I think it was like a Chevy Cavalier. This was back in the early 2000s. So I was like, man, I ain't about to put no rims on no fucking Chevy Cavalier. You know what I mean? I was like, I might put some nice, decent hubcaps, but I ain't gonna put no rims. I was like, yeah, yours look all right, but that's you. I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm a music man. I always had a system in every car I had, man. Every car I had was like a disco on wheels. And so I had told him, I said, man, I'm gonna hook my system up soon. I said, it's gonna be a club on wheels. And he was like, oh yeah, man. He was like, yeah, I gotta do that next. So he put a little rinky dink system in his, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, that's all right. And then he was like, did you put your? I said, yeah, I've been put mines in. So I pulled down the back seat, and he saw all the, because the back seats used to pull down. He saw all the speakers and all the amps I had back there. He was like, oh man. He was like, damn, man, how much this cost? How much that cost? So then he went back complaining to our other mutual friend about the money I spent to put the system in my car. And the dude that told me what he said, he was like, yeah, your boy was complaining. I was like, what was he complaining about? About how much money you spent? I was like, he don't know how much money I spent. I was like, them speakers I had for years. I still got them, by the way. I ain't put them in here, but because my girl don't like all that loud music. So, and plus it draws too much attention. Now I'm in my 40s, man. When I was in my 20s, man, shoot, man, I used to be beating up the street with the sound system. And yeah, so he was whining about all the amps and all the speakers I had in my car and blah blah blah, and you know, I let that slide. So then a couple of months later, I had this gold chain. It was like a gold cross, and he was like, yo, where'd you get that from? I was like, oh man, I've been had this. I was like, you know, I got it from such and such jewelry store a couple years prior to that. And he was like, really? He was like, yeah, I need to get me one of them. He was like, man, I've been saying to myself, I'm gonna get me a gold chain sooner or later. Never got around to it. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, you can go here, you can go there, blah, blah, blah. So then a couple of weeks later, he had called me sounding sad. I was like, yo, you all right, man? He was like, man, things ain't going well. He was still living at home with his mother, by the way. He was like, yeah, man. He was like, man, I'm gonna have to move and get my own place. Now, I had my own place. And he was like, yeah, man, my mom taking all my money, and I'm only working part-time, and I can't buy this, and I can't buy that. And I was like, well, you supposed to give your mom some money. I was like, especially if you living under her roof. I was like, you know, that's the whole point of you living with your mom as a grown man. You should be grateful to give your mom a little piece of change. He was like, nah, it's not even that, man. She be wanting all my money. He was like, man, you don't understand. He was like, I can't even buy me a chain. I said, what? He was like, man, I want to get me a gold chain. I'm trying to save up, but every time I save up a little piece of change, here come my mom with her hand out. I was like, fuck a chain. I was like, take care of your mama first. I said, you'll have more blessings. Honor your mother and your father, dude. He was like, nah, you don't understand. He was like, you don't get it, man. I was like, nah, I don't get it. So he was like, man, I'll call you back. That was the end of our friendship. Dude was competitive. And excuse me, some of y'all girls, y'all be having some competitive ass, jealous ass female friends. Oh man, there's females that'll compete with your kid. Like they'll try to outdress their kids. They'll put their kids in a competition with your kids. Like if you buy your kid a video game, they'll run out and get theirs. They'll run out and get their kid the same video game. You know what I mean? And they'll be secretly telling your kids, oh yeah, we gonna do better than her kid. We gonna get this. We gonna spend more money. You know what I mean? So they'll plant the seed in their kids' head to compete with your kids. Women do that all the time. Friends, family, they do that all the time, man. They always want your kids to compete with their kids or vice versa. You know? Yeah, my girl, she went through that. She when my stepson was a kid, see, he was the only child, so, you know, we would always buy him video games to keep him busy because he was always home alone. You know, he was by himself, so, you know, I used to buy him all types of video games. You know, he was a good kid. And his cousins or his friends would come over and see all the games he got first. They were saying, oh, he's spoiled. Nah, he ain't spoiled. We just can afford to do that for him. He the only child. Now, my girl's friend had like 3 kids, so she really couldn't afford to buy her kids what my stepson had, but she was in a competition with my girl, so she would spend all her little bit of money to please our kids and try to compete with us, and she'll be crying broke. It was a weird dynamic. I'm telling you, there's people out there, like I said, people ain't wrapped too tight. Some people are generationally cursed. I'm telling you, people will go out their way to compete with you. I'm telling you, growing up, I had cousins that would try to compete with me. You know, I didn't even know I was in competition with them. Like, they'll see me with some new clothes. Oh, where'd you get them from? Where'd you get them from? And my mother used to always tell me, don't tell nobody where I got your clothes from. So I would make up some bogus store. I'll be like, yeah, I got these Jordans from Kmart. Kmart? I'm going to Kmart next week. Yeah, I'm gonna tell my mom to take me to Kmart. Lying my ass off. They go to Kmart, can't find no Jordans, and then they'll be like, oh, you lied. Oh, I'll be like, well, shit, that's what my mother told me she got them from. My mother told me she got these Jordans from Kmart, because people will copy, or they'll try to outdo you. Like, you get some Jordans, they'll get like 2 pairs of Jordans. They'll go broke just to compete with your ass. Stupid motherfuckers, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, you got to cut them off. The competitive friend, family member, cut them off. Also, excuse me, I call them Toys R Us kids. There's a lot of grown Toys R Us kids. Y'all remember that commercial? I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's a lot of people in this world that don't want to grow up. They be in their 40s still acting like they 19, 20. You know what I mean? In their 40s acting like they still in high school. I got a friend right now he's older than me, by the way. Still live with his mother. He still live at home. Still act like he acted when we was in high school. He ain't got no diploma because he dropped out. He never had a driver's license. Got 3 kids, but in his mind, he think he's still 20. You know, he think he still dressed like a 20-year-old. He still listened to whatever, because he got younger brothers, and he got younger nephews. He do what they do. He act like he 20 years old. You know, like I saw him a couple of weeks ago. He was like, yeah, man, you know, we need to come over, chill, and drink. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I quit drinking 15 years ago, man. And I was like, man, I work 2 jobs, man. I ain't got time to chill and drink. That's another thing. He got 1 part-time job, like he had when he was in high school. Dude worked like 20 hours a week, still live at home, you know, still be buying Jordans and video games and CDs. I'm like, who still buys CDs? I mean, like, what the shit? You can download shit now, but that's what we did in high school. He still does it. Like, I'm like, damn, man, this dude, it's like he stopped growing. It's like he stopped growing after 21. It's like he stayed 21. You know what I mean? He in his 40s, and he stayed 21, man. He didn't age past 21. I'm like, damn, mentally he didn't age. I'm like, damn, dude. You know, he never had his own apartment either. He lived with girls in the past, but he himself never had his own bachelor pad. Me, shit, I moved out when I was 21. Moved back home one time, and that was it. I moved back home when I was like 23. Moved back out at 24. Never went back. I like having my own place. Not him. He like living with people. You know, if he ain't living at home, he living with one of his sisters, sleeping on her couch. Why? Because he don't want to take on responsibility. Some people are afraid of responsibility. They don't want to grow up to have to accept it. So they leech off other people. Yeah, Toys R Us kids, they don't want to grow up. They want to stay a damn kid. Cut them off. They're spiritual vampires, and they be low-key jealous of you, and they be talking about you behind your back. All of them. The competitive, the Toys R Us kid, the what was the first one I said? The ones that always want to come over your house, the one-sided friendship. Yeah, man, they all be talking behind your back. Yeah, I only got maybe like 3 friends, and I don't really see them that much because they work just like I do. Yep. Cut these people off. These people will drain you. They'll raise your blood pressure too. Yeah, it's your boy Rebo. Like, share, subscribe. Leave your thoughts down in the comments section. Peace.